From CGTN headquarters in Beijing, this is The Hub with Wang Guan.
Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Wang Guan in Beijing. As the spotlight shines on the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2023 in Boao, Hainan Province, can Asian wisdom offer a solution for global problems? The theme this year is An Uncertain World, Solidarity and Cooperation for Development Amid Challenges, which indicates exploring how nations and organizations can work together, can cooperate better, and Chinese Premier Li Qiang's keynote address at the opening ceremony has details about China's proposals. Can China's opening up be the engine of world growth once again? And what are the prime challenges for common prosperity? To discuss all this and more, I'm joined in our Beijing studio by Li Yong, Senior Fellow at China Association of International Trade. He's also the Chief Researcher and D&C Thinktank. Welcome to the program, Mr. Li. Good to see you again. This is one of the first forums the new Chinese Premier Li Qiang attended. What are your takeaways from his speech at the Boao Forum this time around?
I think probably 5 points. One is about China, obviously, and China's attitudes, for example, towards what is happening around the world and what China is going to do. And I think the most important message is the opening up, the continuity of this policy, which will have an impact on China's economic rebound as well as the global economic recovery. And the second thing I think is about the long-term standing of China as a contributor to the world economy. And I think he sent this message very clearly, in the sense that China will continue to grow. China will continue to play the role of a responsible stakeholder. And the third is as a kind of active promoter of true multilateralism, and that is very important, because that based on that, I think we will be able to establish the desired solidarity, and the cooperation built around that is going to be successful and effective. So that is very important. And the other thing is, I think the message is going to be about the resilience of the Chinese economy under the current condition, and the new government. Particularly, I think there will be, proactive policies, okay, that will continue to support the resilience, and as a consequence, the robustness of the supply chain. China, as a part of the global supply chain. So that is going to be a kind of assurance, to the audience as well as to the rest of the world.
Yeah, thanks for this sum up and summary. This forum, the Boao Forum for Asia, is called Asian Doubles for many years. This year's conference is attended by many world leaders and foreign dignitaries, including Malaysian and Singapore head of state and head of government. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez is there. Many leaders from international organizations such as Kristalina Georgieva, the chief of IMF, is there. What do you make of their attendance there? Any notable statements, prediction about the Chinese economy that sticks out?
I think it's about the gravity of this forum. Because this forum is about Asia, and Asia is the most dynamic element in the global economy. And more important than that, this region plays an important role in terms of the global economy, not just in terms of population, size of economy, trade, et cetera, including the global agenda of green transformation and so on and so forth. So through this platform, there are a lot of interactions, and there are collective voices, particularly those business leaders, state leaders, that are coming together. So those, important state leaders, their attendance is going to really, is going to be a kind of a mutual injection of important messages. For example, their attendance is an expression of their trust in the stability of Asia, and they have their hope and their confidence in it. Okay, and at the same time, they also wanted to get, the kind of a positive feedback, from, this forum. And obviously, there are 4 modules, in the forum, and each of them is going to really come up with, some type of solutions, initiatives, and calls, for the region and for the world to work together, in the name of solidarity and cooperation and inclusive development and so on and so forth. So that is very important, for the attending VIPs as well as, the forum itself.
A very important report released from this year's Boao is called Asian Economic Outlook and Integration Process Annual Report 2023. Yeah. It calls Asia, quote unquote, a bright spot in the bleak global economic landscape. To what extent do you share this assessment?
Yes, I think we need to look at this conclusion or the statement in the context of the global economy. IMF sort of not really optimistic about the global picture of the economic development.
But they did revise this China projection.
Yes, that's what I'm going to come to, because Asia has become a most dynamic, and their forecast for Asia, this report says the weighted real GDP is going to be 4.5%, better than last year's 4.2. So that, I think, is going to represent the momentum of growth, the level of dynamism being embedded, in the region. So that is, I think, is very, I think it is very relevant to the rest of the world. So that, I think, is going to be the focus of attention and constitute the bright spot. Okay, and there are other, cooperative initiatives, including in areas like technological development, green transformation, and so on and so forth. So that underlines, the bright spots. So the report also said, it is going to be the Asian moment. Mm. So that, has a lot. I think that is the most important thing to underscore. Yeah. The wording of bright spots.
Definitely. A friend of mine who's also the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Cambodia, Madame Sireche, she's here this time in Boao to discuss mutual payment systems. That is to make payment systems, Alipay, WeChat, acceptable in Cambodia, and likewise, vice versa, making Cambodia digital payment systems available here in China. So I just echoing what you're saying. Mutual cooperation.
Yeah, I think very, very important. In terms of digital cooperation and eventually digital integration. I think that is going to inject additional impetus, because if we have a connected payment system, that is going to really facilitate quicker flow of commodities.
Very quickly, the Chinese economy. IMF put its estimate, the latest one, at 5.2% instead of 4.8%. You share that optimism?
Yes, I think IMF is a respected organization. They have very strong research capability. They have very trustworthy type of
models, sophisticated models.
Yeah, I mean trustworthy, attitudes, in terms of their balanced views. So when they upgrade the forecast for China's economy, which I think this is very significant because of their perspective, okay, and their depth of diving into the data to come up with that kind of a conclusion is trustworthy, and it is also evidence of their trust at different levels of, in terms of China's policies being taken and China's development, trajectory. So very much a kind of a, agreement with what China has been doing. I think that is very, very important. Yeah. In addition, with that update, they also express their confidence in terms of China's contribution to the world, saying that contribution to the world economy is going to be 1/3 or even beyond that. I think it's a kind of a positive analysis. And
actually, a full interview with Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF chief, is available on China Media Group. She was interviewed by my colleague Bai Yansong. Just Google for or Baidu that name, and for the whole interview about her take on the Chinese economy and on the role of the Chinese economy in the global economic landscape. You've been watching The Hub with me here on CGTN.